Hello, magic makers. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Capricorn is your sun, moon, or rising, this reading is for you. A transmission through the Serpent Gate, a page in the Codex, and perhaps a message you were meant to remember. Before we begin, please light the fire and hit the like button. Every like you leave is a torch lit along the spiral road. Every comment a sigil etched in the vault of echoes. And if this message resonates, consider subscribing and joining our journey through the temple. If there is anything you wish for me to hold in light or carry into the temple with you, prayer, protection, or intention, speak it below. Now, these readings are not predictions, they are transmissions, and I am merely the messenger. The meaning is yours to uncover. Open the temple within and listen for what echoes back. Because the most important part of any tarot reading is you. We've got a Princess of Swords. Very curious one you are. This is somebody who really enjoys learning. Okay? I feel like you are just sort of insatiably curious. Yeah? I feel like you could never absorb enough knowledge or information. Like you're always researching, you're always reading, you're always investigating, you're always asking questions. It's kind of a relentless student. These are the students that everybody wants to be, but we're kind of annoyed by them because they just won't stop being a good student. And maybe you weren't always this way. Maybe you were a bad student, when you were younger. I feel like now you've learned how to learn, okay? And I feel that you're able to continue asking questions, and it's like the more answers you get, they don't satisfy you. You don't take the answer and you say, oh, okay, cool, now I go play some video games or something. You ask a follow-up question, and another one, and another one, and another one. More questions, more answers, more answers, more questions, yeah? So it's kind of a relentless focus. And I think that you're able to sort of build a knowledge base that other people really only dream about. I don't know how you do it. I feel like you're just absorbing information right now, okay? Asking a lot of questions, trying to figure things out. And I think the best thing about this card is that it understands that I don't know everything. Right? It's a student, it's a white belt, it's a neophyte. It's somebody that understands that I'm going to make mistakes, that I'm going to fail. The first step in wisdom, right, is to kind of admit that we don't know something. And that's what this card's very good at saying. I don't know, tell me. I don't know, where can I find the answer? It's not, I don't know when I give up. It's, I don't know, but I'll find out. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. The temple has definitely opened again, and this signal is coming through pretty boldly, okay? Pretty loudly here. Here's a Knight of Wands. We have a Moon card underneath. We have an 8 of Cups in the background. We have an 8 of Wands, and we have a Knight of Swords. Okay, so already we see a maturing in this air energy, in this realm of kind of knowledge or the data, the knowledge base, the skill set maybe. Even the belief system, something is maturing, something has evolved. Yeah. We have a 7 of Swords. We have a Prince of Cups, one of my favorite cards. We have a Lover's card, and we have a 4 of Cups. I feel like there's an old plan that perhaps you walked away from something out of necessity, because I feel like there's an old plan that's now kind of maturing and bringing a lot more progress, bringing in a lot more abundance. Okay, so it may be that you did kind of like walk away from something, or you deviated from the previous plan. You allowed the plan to sort of evolve. You tinkered with it, maybe, And now I feel like it's really going to start bringing in some fresh abundance. Yeah, I think your patience is turning into reward. Okay, I think that some kind of authority or recognition, because of your authenticity, is going to like shift you forward, kind of onward and upward. Okay, I think that your discipline is really on point as well, and I think that it's allowing for the right kind of timing here. Okay, you're trying to time something with trying to be very patient and wait for a door to open. Okay. I feel like there is some kind of a mentor or even an authority figure that's given you some kind of like unexpected support. Maybe it's like the boss, or it's like someone whose opinion you really value. I feel like they might be coming in and sort of treating you like an equal. And I feel like that feels very, very good. Okay. Your opportunities right now are being created because of your persistence, because of your tenacity, but really because of your patience and your ability to kind of, continue to learn and grow and work and study. Building yourself up now is kind of creating that opportunity. It's not luck. It's not kind of like divine timing. I feel like it's just through you just persisted. You studied those textbooks until you knew the material like that, and it's paying off basically, right? I think some financial doors are also opening for you. I feel like there is more of the good things coming to you in your life. The Four of Cups at the end, that's a card of luxury. Okay. I think that you are kind of, you're climbing to a particular summit on your mountain with this energy. Okay. And see, the temple speaks only when the listener is ready. I feel like now there's kind of like you're ready for something. Yeah, you've prepared, you've done the work. I think it's time for you to kind of reap the rewards. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it right here with Mr. Ed, our tiny horse. Now, we're not going to look at that horse, of course, until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, but your prediction in the comment section down beneath the video, okay? Now, as we look around the room, we see two major arcana energies. To me, it feels like the moon card, we're kind of lost, we're separated, we're searching for something, and with the lover's card, we are finding it. Okay, so this is that dark, scary forest. We're journeying, questing for something. We're finding it, we're uniting with it, we're marrying ourselves to it. Okay, it doesn't have to be a person. Just because it's a lover's card doesn't mean romance. Okay, we've already chosen something, but here we're out here looking for it. Okay, we've got fire and fire, water and water. You've got air, air, and air. Well, I guess we have more water too. Interesting, yeah, look at that. We've got 1, 2, 3 water cards and 1, 2, 3 air cards. So this is your heart and your mind, okay? And I feel that maybe part of the plan that you had got put on hold because of something from the heart, right? That something your mind wanted got kind of overruled by something your heart wanted. And that took you in a bit of a different direction. But I feel like now you're spiraling back, you know? Or it could be that there was a time where your heart really wasn't in it anymore, and so you took a break from it. Now you're circling back. And now it's kind of that, I feel like your heart's kind of renewed. Now you want it again. Now you're ready to do it. It's kind of like you're studying something for so long, eventually you kind of just start to hate it. And so maybe you take a break from it. I don't know, maybe you took a gap year at school, maybe you started taking some other classes because the plan that you were kind of following before, just it wasn't interesting any longer. Kind of feel like you lost heart a little bit. But I don't think it means you abandoned something, because very often the Eight of Cups is something that we're going to circle back to eventually. Yeah. And so I think that's kind of, what this is, that you realize that, hey, I'm starting to really not like this anymore. So I need to take a break from it because I want to like it. Because ultimately, deep down, I love that thing. I want to spend the rest of my life doing it. But right now I'm just kind of annoyed by it. I really don't want to look at it, so I'm going to go do some other stuff. And then I'll come back to it. It's kind of like your favorite food. When I was a kid, I said, well, pizza, your favorite food, right? You eat so much pizza, then you start to hate it. So you say, you know what, I want to take a break from it because I really want to love it. So I'm going to take a break from the pizza, and then I'll circle back around, and there it is, I love it again. Problem solved, yeah. Think of it like that, but something much, much more important than pizza, okay? And also let me know your favorite pizza toppings in the comments down below, okay? Anyway, to me it feels like you are traveling on the spiral road. And the first card in our spread is the station card. This is where you are right now. This is the still point on the spiral road. If we were to take a snapshot of your life, this is where you are. We see the path curling behind you. We see the path spiraling out in front of you. This is where you are on that spiral right now. Okay. Now the spiral road doesn't repeat. Okay. It reveals. Yeah. And the idea is for you to continue moving forward because this is worth it for you. And you do want this. You do ultimately love it, even if there are times where we sort of turn away from it for a little while. We just need a break from things sometimes, so that we don't fall out of love with it. Whether it's an idea, whether it's a person, whether, absence makes the heart grow fonder in a way. So this is your station. This is where you are right now. And you're in student mode. And I think you are maybe this is you pursuing other things. Okay? This is something that maybe, your intellect has walked away from what this was. This was a heart situation, right? And it may be that you took a break from that in order to pursue just other interests. We see the Eight of Wands up here showing a lot of creative curiosity, creative problem solving. Problem is, I don't like this so much anymore. Okay, so what does your creativity say? Well, let's find some other things to do. Find some things to refresh this. Okay, so if we look at it in this horizontal path, it's kind of saying, I started to not like it anymore. I started to lose interest, started to get bored, started to feel like, I don't want to show up anymore. So the mind started getting a little bit restless, a little bit curious, started looking at other things and kind of making different plans, perhaps. But I wonder if the Eight of Wands is then you trying to find the discipline and the patience to not abandon this, but to find a way to make it more fun, make it more interesting, bring in a little bit of creativity there. Okay? Because I wonder if that then would renew your motivation, right, with the Knight of Wands and lead to the evolution, the fulfillment of this path, whatever the path is that you're on, and lead to the rewards that you really want to see, that you want to achieve through this path. Okay? So I don't feel as if you're walking away from that. I don't feel like you're taking a break this time. This might be the time where you say, I can't walk away from this again and then come back in a year or in a month or in a week or whatever. I need to find a way to stick with this, because perhaps when you do take a break from something, it feels as if your path kind of resets. Or maybe this is like, you don't want to really take a detour right now because you might feel like you get lost a little bit. We've got to stay on the path we're on so we don't get lost. Okay? So anyway, your current station is the mind looking at a lot of things, asking a lot of questions, and perhaps getting curious dabbling in a lot of other subjects. Okay? Maybe you were going to do math, and you really just, math was it. That's your thing. Now you're like, maybe I like history. Maybe I like, language arts. Maybe I like, literature or, astronomy or geology or something like that. Biology, chemistry. Kind of starting to shop around a little bit intellectually. Okay. Being very curious as you are. But we then add on that Knight of Wands, and the Knight of Wands is the cardinal fire. It's fire that's on fire, right? So it's motivation. It is the enthusiasm that people typically feel when they first start something. And so this kind of, card 2 is the battle. It's the force that's kind of pressing against you. It's your challenge right now. And it means a couple things. One, that other things in your life, other things that your mind is curious about, feel more inspiring. They feel more, you feel a little bit more like motivation toward, more enthusiastic. And it's very easy to do. When we've been forcing ourselves to stay focused on something to the point where we're just kind of like, oh God, I don't want to keep doing it. Anything else that we may look at feels like, ooh, that's exciting. Ooh, that's fun. That's going to be, I'm way more motivated to go do that. Sometimes we may sit around, we may feel so bored and so tired and just, I can't write another math equation, no matter, I'm just exhausted. Then somebody comes along and says, hey, you want to go play ball? You want to go see a movie? You want to go, go to the planetarium or something? And suddenly you have all this energy. Well, where did that come from? You were just exhausted doing the math homework, right? Sometimes we need that kind of a creative break, but not to the point where we're going to be lured away from something and get lost. Okay? So the problem now is that anything else in your life feels more exciting. So the other half of that problem is that you don't feel this kind of excitement for the plan that you've been working on, for the thing that this is what you really want to do. It may be that you just need some distractions in your life. Okay? Which is okay. We got to be very careful. You don't want to be lured away. Okay? You don't want to be lured away. But if you have the discipline, and if you're in control of yourself, you can allow these distractions to come in and use them to really renew your enthusiasm and your motivation for what you're really, really connected to, what you really, the Lover's card. What you say with your entire being, you've said yes to it. Now, just because you've said ultimately 1,000% heck yes to something does not mean that you're not going to sometimes feel bored, sometimes feel like, this is just like dragging me down, man. It's like, it's killing the vibe and that sort of thing. It's not. Okay, this is still ultimately your 1,000% heck yes. But right now, your mind is saying anything else would be way more fun right now. And so that's your obstacle, that's your battle. Okay? This is where this is what's kind of challenging your will right now. Do you resist this or do you transmute this? Do you resist this and say, no, I'm just going to stay drudging through this and force myself to stay here? Or do you say, you know what, I'm going to maybe go have some distractions and get involved in some other things just to kind of let loose a little bit, and then I'll come back to this and I'll be a little bit more, I'll have a little bit more energy for this, right? Or maybe as a third option, do you find ways to make this more exciting? To make yourself more motivated to do this, to make yourself want to do this. Sometimes, it's just changing the environment. Sometimes it's just like, instead of doing it in the morning, do it in the evening. Instead of doing it on an empty stomach, maybe have breakfast first. Instead of doing it by yourself, do it with other people. Sometimes changing the scenery, changing the lighting, changing the position of your desk or something. You know what I mean? Like maybe this is like you really want to stay here and write your book. But it's like anything else seems like more fun. Maybe you just need to spruce up your writing area a little bit. Turn the desk backwards. Sit on the floor and do it. Change the music. Light some incense. What can you do to sort of to liven the place up a bit? Okay? Because this is the point where most people would probably abandon what they were doing. But a magic maker is not going to do that. Okay? Now, beneath the surface, this is position 3. The soul, this is what is within you, right? Your soul knows, even if you've forgotten, this is an echo from the temple. Okay? And this is both a reminder that if you were to abandon your work now, you would be lost. You do not want to re-enter the dark, scary forest of not knowing your purpose or not knowing where you are or what you're doing. If you abandon something now, you're back to being a wanderer. You're back to kind of being lost here, okay? And so this is in some ways that realization that you have found something that you've been searching for a long time, whatever it is that you're committed to, okay? You don't want to lose that again and then have to go on a quest to then find something else or find it again or find something that, find something else that you can commit to 1,000%. Okay? So I feel like Spirit's really trying to tell you not to abandon the path you're on now. Realize that it is a spiral road. Okay? And you've walked this spiral road before. And I think that if you handle this, I don't know what you want to call it, boredom, or this loss of hope, okay, or this kind of pessimism, if you handle this correctly, you're going to keep spiraling up. You're going to transcend. Things are going to get better. More abundance is going to come in. Fresh motivation will arrive and fresh rewards, let's say, right? But if you abandon this, and you kind of abandon the spiral road, you're going to be lost in that dark, scary forest. Okay? The other key here is the little sun that's about to rise up from the bottom of this card. And it's basically saying that you are standing at a threshold. And that if you can discipline yourself and if you have patience and if you can find a way to hold on this path, the breakthrough that you're looking for is just about to happen. Okay, but it could be that if we are kind of experiencing this again, it could be that you get right up to that threshold, and then your heart kind of says, "I'm bored" or whatever, right? And you go do, and you leave, you abandon it. By the time you circle back around, you've got to build back up to that threshold moment. So you keep approaching that serpent gate, and then I think turning back. Not realizing that's what you're doing, okay? But turning back, and I kind of feel like your old self is kind of like almost begging you not to step through the doorway. And so your sort of your old self or your uninitiated self is kind of influencing your mind to say, "Hey, this is boring. Let's go do something else." Okay. This is a divine doorway. Let's do a divine doorway oracle card. Oh, there it is. Jude's Song. A reminder, for even the most hopeless of lost cases, you can still find peace within the strangest of places. The hopeless, right? The hopeless Eight of Cups. That's what that card is, hopelessness. Okay. So I feel like what your soul is really trying to tell you here is trying to tell you, look, just hold on. Okay? Because what you're looking for is just around the corner. The magic that is the result of this, or the fulfillment of your plan, or the luxury, the reward, some kind of fruit from your labor. This is kind of like saying, I'm never going to get fruit. And of course, the Four of Cups is finally some fruits, a little bit of luxury. You're getting a little bit of ease. Okay, things are going to lighten up for you a little bit, but you keep kind of walking away from the threshold. As soon as you get up close, you turn back. This is a threshold card. Okay, this is a serpent gate. Okay, and it may be that really part of your worry here, or part of the fear, is that you can't see what's on the other side of that serpent gate. You don't exactly know what it's going to look like if you fully just stick with this and commit and cross over that threshold, go through the gate. Maybe you don't know what your life's going to be. Okay, so maybe there's some part of you that's just kind of scared of the future. So every time you get close to that breakthrough moment, you kind of turn back saying, I don't know if I'm ready for that. And maybe you don't do that consciously, okay? In the background, Eight of Cups. This is the chain. This is sometimes the link that binds you, right? This is a card of hopelessness. This is that card of boredom. This is the card of a heart that's really exhausted and just doesn't want to do it anymore. Okay, Saturn in Pisces, it feels like this was a lot of discipline and a lot of restriction. Basically said, I've been doing this thing, studying this math for so long that it's like I'm not able to enjoy anything in life. That your discipline, that you've chained yourself to a particular path, and it's basically like you haven't been able to have fun or go do fun things or like get any kind of rewards or have any kind of pleasure. Okay, this is a restriction of your emotional gratification, a restriction of luxury. Four of Cups is the return of luxury. Okay, so this is saying, you know, the Saturn there is it's restrictive. And, you know, it might be, in a way, it might be kind of an all or nothing thinking. It might be a feeling as if I'm really committed, if I say 1,000% heck yes to this path, then it means I have to deny myself any other kind of pleasure or gratification. And even when this path becomes challenging and difficult and exhausting, I have to force myself to continue doing it. And I'm not allowed to, you know, to look at any other paths, you know. And I feel like that's kind of like, you know, it's either you have this insane discipline or you're abandoning the path to go, you know, be a heathen and do other things, you know, to stray from the path. And I feel like that's maybe a misnomer. I don't feel like you are straying from the path. I feel like you need to have other interests. You need to have other things that you enjoy doing. It doesn't mean you're cheating on your true purpose in life, you know. And so it could be that, you know, this path is demanding a lot of you, and it's beginning to feel as if there are no rewards. That it's all work and no play, basically, right? You got to have a little bit of play. What if the mystery card's going to be the Fool card? So that thinking, I'm not saying this path is literally all work and no play, but it's the idea that if I'm really loyal to this, then I have to suffer through it. I have to just force myself to continue doing it, even when it's not fun, even when I'm not enjoying it anymore and I have no motivation to do it. The 8 of Wands up here. Okay, this is your untapped power. It's position 5, it's called the Giant. The 8 of Wands is a card of internal pressure and expansion. So it may be really the few of those things we already talked about, finding a way to expand the environment that you're in right now. If you're trying to sit there at the typewriter and write your book, change the scenery a little bit. Try to get creative and expand your world a little bit. Expand your mind, you know. Get creative. Change the scenery, change the music. You know, change the way you're sitting, change your chair. Sometimes that helps. Change the decor in the room, you know, that sort of thing. Go do it outside, you know. Go do it at a coffee shop. Do it at a different time of the day. Get creative. Experiment. Okay? And also this is kind of that anxiety that we have where it's just kind of like there's that internal pressure, right? All these arrows are going in different directions. That's the feeling as if I don't care what else I'm going to go do, but I can't sit here and do this. It's a restlessness when we're sitting down to type at our typewriter and we think, I got to get the heck out of here. I don't care where I go, but I don't want to be here doing this, okay? And that's a pretty harsh feeling. When it gets to that point where you can't even enter your office to sit down to write your book, that's pretty serious, okay? So something definitely needs to be done. And you have those options. You can force yourself to do it, and I don't think that'll work. Something's gonna break, you know? Or you could say, forget it, and you could let yourself be whisked away by any of your other interests. You could find a way to make it more pleasing to you, make it more inviting to where you want to come sit down at the typewriter. Okay? Or you give yourself a little bit of a relief. Go watch some bad television. Go have a bowl of ice cream and a burrito in the bathtub. Find some way to relieve some of that stress and pressure. You're putting too much pressure on yourself And you need to find creative ways to alleviate that. Because this is the path for you. I see a lot of abundance coming from this. In the future position, this is the imago, this is the mirror of your becoming. Okay? And in a way, this is part of your higher self or your ideal form. This is a Knight of Swords. Fire and air. This is you continuing with this plan and making tremendous progress. This is a this is you soaring through the air. This is you flying free. Okay? This is kind of the motivation to stick to the plan and to feel like you're making progress. This is you writing the book, and it's just like it's pouring out of you. It's like, I wrote a dozen chapters today. I wrote 200,000 words this morning, you know? It's a crazy amount of progress. Okay? Because that motivation has come back. Because you've arranged your life in such a way where you can get on that current. Okay? You can get on that air. This is the path of the dove. This is the dove current. Okay? This is flowing through you. This is what you really want to have happen. Okay? You want to see that this path is progressing. And this feels like now a lot of movement forward. Okay, the Knights are always moving forward. And this is the motivation to get the plan going. And maybe this is an intellectual pursuit. Maybe this is something that you have to write, or some report you have to do, like maybe some schoolwork, I don't know what it is. A proposal or something like that, or just moving forward with the plan. Now it feels like things are flowing much more freely forward. And that's beautiful. Okay, that's beautiful. We're going to talk about the path of the serpent. I would like you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Your general energy is the Seven of Swords. This is the distraction card. This is literally like my mind is being pulled in a lot of different directions. You're trying to stay on that central sword, the Ace of Swords, right? That's kind of me going forward. That's you doing this. Straight ahead, locked in, making progress, moving forward into the future, right? Things are flowing free. But there's all these other little swords that are distracting you. All these other thoughts, okay? This is the persona. This is the persona. This is the way other people might see you. It could be perhaps that other people see you as being very distractible. Someone who, you know, as soon as something shiny comes along, they're like, ooh, what's that? Any excuse I can have to not do this. You know when you really don't want to do something? And any other little thing that happens, you're like, I'll do it because you really don't want to be here. That's kind of the energy that we're feeling right now, okay? And that might be the way that you're sort of, and I don't think you're being perceived by others that way. I don't think there's literally anybody around you that's kind of like saying, hey, you need to get back to work. You know, maybe there is, but I feel like this is more about us realizing the kind of the objective view of ourselves. Because this is the subjective view of ourselves. This is the objective view of us. This is how you see yourself. This is how theoretically other people could see you. Okay, you see yourself as being very curious. You like a lot of different things. You keep asking questions. You're investigating a lot of different things. Other people see you as like, you know, again, objectively. I don't think anybody's like looking at you and saying this. But the objective view of you is that you're letting yourself get distracted to avoid doing the work you got to do. These two cards aren't very different. They're showing somebody doing the same things, but we're perceiving it differently. Me, I'm just curious. I just want to read a lot of different books. I'm interested in a lot of different things. Yeah, that's true. It's also an excuse for you not to focus on what you need to focus on. Okay? So there's that aspect of this card. I also think that maybe it really is that you do need a little bit of a distraction, a little bit of a reprieve. It's kind of like you're working really hard all day long. In the evening, go watch some really bad TV. Go watch some reality TV or like some game shows or something. You know what I mean? Just something that you don't have to really think about or get involved with. You can just, something just silly and fun and just, you know what I mean? Laugh and unwind. in order to not get distracted from what you're doing. No, just as a way to unwind so that tomorrow you're right back to focusing. You have your energy, your motivation, and you're back in it. Okay? So there is that subtlety there. This is position 8, sometimes called the shadow. Sometimes this is that part of you that's buried in the vault of echoes. Okay? It is the Prince of Cups. This is a bubble of air in a very hostile environment. This is a scuba diver, right? This is somebody that's got a little bit of oxygen on their back and is down under the crushing weight, emotional weight. So I feel like for you, you're trying to maintain your authenticity. You're trying to stick to the plan when there are these overwhelming emotions around you. Okay? When it's kind of like your heart is just not feeling it. You're trying to remain true to something that you've committed to, something that you believe in. Okay? You're trying to keep that bubble of air from getting squeezed by all those emotions until this is just done. This is just gone, you know? So I feel like sometimes you need, what do you need when you're a little bubble in the ocean? You need to go up toward the surface, you know? You need to find a way to kind of get out of all that emotional pressure. Okay? It may be that you're feeling pressured by people outside of yourself, in your environment, or people around you. Okay? But this card is sometimes the shadow, you know? This is sometimes that part of you that's kind of been buried. And it might be not so factual necessarily, but how you feel. It may be that you feel as if there is too much pressure on you, because that's kind of going back here with this, right? We feel that there's too much of a restrictive energy, that you're not allowed to deviate from what you're doing. That if you really are committed to this, you should be suffering 24/7 for it, right? And so that even like just having a burrito or taking a bath or watching some reality TV is somehow an insult to what you're doing, right? That it's sacrilege, yeah? So it feels like there's a lot of emotional pressure. And it may literally be coming from people around you that you feel is see, with the authenticity of the Prince of Cups, this is somebody that's trying to maintain their inner truth when there's a lot of hostile emotions around them. Somebody that's trying to be themselves, even though the vibes around them really are trying to change them, okay? And I think that what it kind of means is that you're in a position of great temptation. There's a lot of things around you. It's like when you're sitting there and you're trying to do your math homework, but the TV's on, you're at the carnival, there are all these cool things to do and people to look at, and like you're being way too distracted. I don't know why there's a carnival there. But there's way too many things going on around you that are distracting you from what you're doing. So it may be just as simple as changing your environment to one that is more conducive to the work you're trying to do. Surrounding yourself with too many things that you desire. You know, it's like you're trying to eat a nice, healthy salad, but you're surrounded by cookies and cupcakes and hamburgers and whatever else, you know. There's too much to desire right there within arm's reach. It may be that you need to change your environment in that way, okay? The Lover's card that we have next, that is kind of a fear, okay? And I think it's kind of, in a way, this is the mirage, okay? This is that position that is the fear, worry, concern. It's kind of the mirage. It's an illusion. This is the card of choice, of commitment, of marrying yourself to somebody. So the fear is that if you in any way deviate from your concentration, from your focus, that you're somehow betraying this, or that it means you don't actually want this. Okay, so you're kind of saying, like, if I'm talking to other people, or if I'm curious about other subjects, or I'm communicating in other ways with other things in life, that I'm somehow violating my oath, or that I am somehow corrupting this union or betraying this choice or this union, or that it means that you don't actually choose this, that you're violating the covenant here. You see what I mean? And I don't believe that's true. I believe that it's just that you're in the wrong environment to do what you need to do, and to do it, as concentratedly as you wish. And now with the Knight of Swords here, this is somebody that can flow freely. There is no friction. There is no weight. Okay, there's no pressure, really. There's no temptation around you, yeah? We're talking peer pressure here, yeah? So I think that this is a good card to have in this position, because it's trying to remind you that you are 1,000% committed to what you're doing. Just because your mind and your heart are being kind of drawn out into other things that you're kind of curious about and other things that you desire, it doesn't mean that this is not there, or that this is a corrupted thing, or that this is absent, or that this is broken. It doesn't mean that you are kind of violating your vows here or something, right? And I don't know if this has to do with a relationship. It could. That would all make sense here. But you understand why this is here in the position of the Mirage, right? Because it is not true that your curiosity about other things means that you're not committed to this thing with all your heart. Okay? Let that sink in. Now, the Four of Cups here, that feels like it is a calming down of the emotions. Feels like it is an emotional stability. It's also a card of luxury. Okay? So I feel that you are going to be experiencing much more emotional fruit, much more emotional gratification from the path that you're on and from other things in your life. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's almost like you have a dog, right? And your dog wants to spend every second with you, and you want to spend every second you have with your dog, right? But sometimes it's just, I love you, dog, but I got to do something else. And then you go and you spend time with the cat. Oh no, the dog feels like you just broke up with it. Feels like you don't love it anymore, right? And that's very basic, very primal, very instinctual kind of feeling, but it doesn't mean that's the case. It doesn't mean that you are any less committed to your dog just because you're going to go and relax with the cat for a few minutes. You know what I mean? It's not a betrayal. It's not a breaking of the oath or the covenant. Okay? And so I think it's okay for you to find peace and stability and love in in a lot of different ways. And so this is, if you are in a marriage or a partnership or something like that, a serious romantic thing, this is like, if your partner didn't want you to go have friends. Because if you're having fun with somebody else, it must mean that you're not taking this commitment seriously. That's absurd. That is absurd, right? So whatever this is for you, you have to do whatever you need to do within reason and in a way that feels like, ethically sound for you, in order to, to stabilize your heart and to feel that you are able to continue doing what you're doing. You have to allow yourself some fruit for all your labor. Okay, allow yourself a little luxury. This is just really a card of like, it's luxury. It's taking a bubble bath with a bowl of ice cream and a burrito. It's just luxury. You don't need it. I don't need to take a bubble bath, right? Sometimes you can have things just that you want. I don't need to, watching the reality TV, that's not doing anything for my math homework. I don't need to do that. It's not research. It's just dumb. It's just entertainment. It's just fun, I don't watch that much. We all know, I take that back. We watch a little bit of reality TV. We like that show Love After Lockup, I'll be honest with you. But anyway, these are not things that you need, but they are things that you want. And sometimes getting some of the things that you want, having some of the things that you want, allowing yourself to want things, is going to help you be more serious, more committed, more focused, more patient, more dedicated, more loyal to, to your purpose here, whatever that is. Let's look at the mystery card, position 11, the guide. This is an omen. This is a voice from the temple. This is sometimes a companion walking with you down this spiral road. What do we think it's going to be? I think it's going to be an ace. I think it's going to be a commitment. It's going to be a focus, maybe an ace of swords. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments section down below. Let's see. It's a 9 of swords. It's important that you realize kind of why you're losing sleep, Realize what it is that's bothering you right now. Because this is kind of like we're dreading. We wake up in the morning and we're just crying. It's like we have to go back to work. We have to go, in and do back to the typewriter, This is anxiety. Yeah. This is, we're not sleeping like a baby. This is the realization that our needs are not getting met. And maybe this is, very literally, you love the work that you're doing, but you don't like the environment that you have to do it in. Maybe this is somebody that really loves, their job, but doesn't like having to go in and deal with the people that are there, that there's something going on maybe in that area. But this is a card of unnecessary punishment. This is cruel and unusual. Okay? You have to figure out what it is that's causing you this kind of discomfort. This is a misery multiplier, by the way. The 9s, right, are multipliers. This is a misery multiplier. You're making it harder and harder and harder on yourself. Maybe somebody else is making it harder and harder and harder on you, multiplying your misery. You got to find out what that is and change it. Is it the environment? Can you rearrange something? Do you need to take yourself out of a situation and do your work somewhere else? Because something is it feels like it's tormenting you a little bit. And it could really be at the beginning, it could be that idea of having to go back and continue trying to do this work. It just feels like, I don't want to go. I don't want to do it. Anything but this. Okay? Because this hasn't been giving you any kind of fruit or gratification. So I think this is a very appropriate card. Okay? And if this is your companion right now, I think we need some different companions. We need a better environment. Okay? This, again, remember, this is a misery multiplier. And that basically means that if every day I go in, it feels worse and worse and worse, I'm not going to be able to keep going in. Eventually, I'm just going to say I quit. We have to find out why this is and what we can do to change it. Okay, so that at the very least, we start having a little bit of the stability. Then we can start building more happiness. We can start feeling better and better and better. First thing we need to do is stabilize, okay? Now, we're going to do an extended reading as well. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner here. There's a link in the video description here. New readings for Capricorn on Tuesdays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.